Hi everybody. I've had this particular video sent to me just recently. This is on a channel called Mind of Steel, Reynard Wilson, and I've had this video sent to me, the one down the bottom on the left hand side where my cursor is, down here. Now this is Dan Neidle being interviewed by Reynard Wilson, the channel Mind of Steel, and I played this video which is only recorded quite recently, 13 days ago. Dan Neidle, Reynard Wilson here, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was actually driving, listening to this in the background. It's just an extraordinary example of the levels of bullshit and lack of integrity of people out there, and specifically Dan Neidle and Reynard Wilson. So I want to explain what I mean by this. So around about 6 weeks ago, I engaged with Dan Neidle through 𝐊𝐿𝐲 to try and get him to take down his blogs and posts, of which there's multiple up on the internet, and a lot of people have read them. And of course, because Dan Neidle appears to be respected and a lot of people seem to like what he says and what he does, then he's got a fairly big audience of people that are believing his bullshit. Now, I'm sure that there are many things that Dan Neidle has reported on that are factually sound, and they are actually based on some research that you would be able to verify to be true. But when it comes to me, Iain Clifford, he's done no research whatsoever. He's looked at bullshit posts that are on the internet. He's then regurgitated things onto his blogs and posts and channels. And even after I engaged with him and he refused to take his blogs and posts down, then I started via 𝐊𝐿𝐲 to demonstrate to him that what he was saying and what he has been saying for over 2 years, it lacks complete substance and is utter bullshit. So this isn't going to be a long video, but I want to make it absolutely clear. The bullshit that Dan Neidle is saying is, you can categorise it. He claims that I am a sovereign citizen, free man on the land, practising pseudo-law, I've never won a lawsuit, and I am a tax fraudster that is on the run in Cyprus, in North Cyprus, because the FCA closed in on me and I had to run away from them so that I can carry on allegedly defrauding people all over the world with pseudo-law schemes that don't work, that never would work in any scenario, and that's what apparently I do. According to Dan Neidle, that is exactly what he says I do. Now the truth is that I don't do any of those things. I've never provided anyone with any individual service. I've never charged anybody a fee. I provide information and education, and members of the original Matrix Freedom PMA never paid me anything for any services. They never received any guarantees of any outcome. And now I am the head minister of Republic of Old Souls. I still don't charge anybody any fees. I do not provide anybody with financial services that require a licence. The FCA knows this. Anybody who looks at the evidence knows this. I'm 100% not practising pseudo-law or operating as a sovereign citizen, and I want to prove it to you. This is 𝐊𝐿𝐲's website, and on this website there is a section called Reports. This is me, Iain Clifford, and there is a section called Reports, and if you scroll down, I am debunking anybody and criticising and going into technical detail about why people, why all these different ideologies in the sovereign citizen movement, in the free man on the land movement don't work. There are a whole range of papers. OPCA, which is what the courts call anyone who comes in with pseudo-law, free man on the land, sovereign citizen beliefs in their papers. a whole section on pseudo-law here. I've got a section on Dan Neidle and what he's been doing and saying. I've got a whole section on credit recoupment, abandoned credit, a whole range of papers that I have written in the last 6 months that absolutely demonstrate that I am not practicing pseudo-law, never have done, never will do. Free man on the land, sovereign citizen. Dan Neidle claims that I took pseudo-law, free man on the land presentments into the high courts. I didn't. My cases were based upon very sound argument, mortgage cases from the past. I had a libel case against open democracy, nothing to do with pseudo-law, nothing to do with sovereign citizen or free man on the land type presentments. And I have sent via 𝐿 a whole plethora of evidence to Dan Neidle that the FCA's case, their entrapment by design, Order 34, 2023, was an entrapment by design. They haven't got a verified prosecutor. Alistair Mackenzie is not a real prosecutor. He doesn't even exist. They're investigating 45,000 documents apparently, which they collected from an office that wasn't my office. The documents don't belong to me, and they've never served anything on a registered address in relation to writs, warrants or orders in relation to Order 34 2023. The case is in the Court of Appeal right now, in the UK Court of Appeal. It was rejected on procedural grounds in the beginning of January of this year. I put it back in there because those procedural grounds had no substance. They claimed it was going to be put in front of a single judge. They're very afraid of this case because they know that my 3 pillars defence is very, very powerful. If the FCA have got no bona fide real prosecutor, the case collapses on that one point. If they're allegedly investigating documents that don't belong to me, then they can't say that they're investigating my activities. And if they don't have anywhere to serve the writs, warrants or orders on, then they have no case. So all of those 3 pillars, any one of them could knock the case out and they'd have to annul the 12-month sentence. So Dan Neidle knows all of that. I've sent him the case. I've sent him the 3 pillars defence. I've sent him all the evidence of why I don't practice pseudo-law. I've sent him all the evidence of signature credit recoupment working. I've shown him the evidence. I've shown him how it works. I've gone into it in a huge detail. And after all of that, he goes on this show, Mind of Steel, and tells everybody who wants to hear that I'm pseudo-law, that I'm sovereign citizen, that I'm free man on the land, that I'm a tax fraudster, that I'm on the run from the FCA because they have got a strong case against me. It's utter bullshit. How anybody can listen to this guy, Dan Neidle, and treat him seriously, I have no idea whatsoever. He's going to be exposed in the United States in a court case, probably 2, as I've already explained. He won't be able to surround himself by his powerful friends in the United Kingdom that protect him. He is going to realise that if you are going to say things about people, then you better get your facts straight, because all these things that he's saying about me, and I've no doubt saying about others, are there to protect the cabal, to protect the control agenda, and to undermine people like me that are brave enough to bring people real remedies that actually work. He knows that what I'm bringing works. So does the cabal, so does the FCA, and that is why they try and close me down with their undermining my reputation. It's been going on 16 years. My document that Dan Neidle has on my backstory and the 90 billion of bank fraud that was all going on between 2005 and 2009 is bigger than Hillsborough. It's bigger than the post office scandal. That's what I blew the whistle on, and this is how they treat whistleblowers. Do you trust Dan Neidle? Because if you do, I have no information that can lead me ever to trust this guy. He completely lacks integrity, and I'm going to expose him for his lack of integrity. Thank you for watching.